What's going on, builders? Welcome back to yet another episode. In this episode, we are turning this Model 111 vision cage, which is 16 high by 24 wide by 12 inches deep, into a nice little nano vivarium. I'm really excited about this. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. As always, we're starting with the lights in this enclosure. Now, because this is the smallest little vivarium I've ever done, I had to use a different light than I'm used to, but I'm still using full spectrum lights. I will put the link for these lights in the description below, so you can check that out after if you would like. Now, using a thick bead of silicone, I'm just gonna secure these to the top of the enclosure, and we'll take care of the wiring process later. And then on to the hardscape. Now, I really did like this one particular piece of cork bark. It looks like a branch, and I wanted that to be the centerpiece of this build. Also taking a secondary branch just to kind of add a little bit more to it, makes it look a little bit more foresty. Once I kind of figured out where I wanted everything, I went ahead and took some black foam to secure the wood pieces in place. So after we let that cure for about 4 hours or so, we can go ahead and add some other pieces of cork bark, taking some great stuff pond and stone and securing those in, as well as taking the rest of the back wall and foaming that as well. And you want that to cure for anywhere from 6 to 8 hours to the back wall to make sure that it is fully cured. When you start carving it, it's not still wet. So this is something I really wanted to show you guys. After I started carving it, a lot of the background started peeling off, kind of coming off in big chunks. You can see here how it's kind of flat and smooth. The foam did not adhere to the plastic very well. Now, a quick easy fix for this is just to simply sand down the enclosure before putting the foam on the walls. But this is kind of what I have left here, showing you this is what I'm going to work with. Now, moving forward to the lighting, we're going to go ahead and be very careful with these particular wires because they are very small, but splitting the wire with a razor blade, simply stripping them and putting them together with some heat shrink butt connectors. Pretty easy, pretty simple. I will be doing a video on this here in the future, which I will be able to then add time cards to all the videos. Now, to check the light, this light is pretty cool because it does have a couple different settings on it, so you can make it brighter or dimmer, and it has a built-in timer, which is pretty nice. Now for the messy part, using GE Black Silicone 1. This stuff is great for vivariums because it does not allow molds to grow on it. Simply kind of putting that in different sections and using my finger while obviously wearing a glove because you do not want to get this stuff on you. Spreading it around and then putting the peat moss on it and pushing down on it very hard to make sure the peat moss sticks to it. Doing different sections at a time is very important. You can't really do it all at once because the silicone will dry way too fast. This is pretty much what it looks like when you get the entire wall done. It looks very clean. Now, once that all cures for a couple hours, anywhere from 4 to 6 hours, you can go ahead and do the other sides as well. But I am going to show you guys this other piece that I did have on the back wall. I'm going to add to the sidewall just by taking some silicone, putting it on the back of it, and then pushing it down to the sidewall. And then we're going to go ahead and put peat moss on both sides as well. Moving on to the false bottom, I'm actually going to be using Hydroton, which is little clay pellets basically. I like to order them off Amazon. It's just cheap and easy that way, and you can get them in bulk. I will put a link in the description for these as well. so you guys can purchase them if need be. There's different false bottoms you can use, but for the vision cages, I find these work the best. Now, after getting a nice thin layer on, because I don't have too much room to work with here, we're going to go ahead and then take the drainage layer, which is just a simple layer of weed block to separate the hydroton from the soil itself. Once we got the weed block installed, then we can go ahead and add our substrate. Now, I do make my own substrate. Again, I will be doing a video on this very, very soon in the future, just on how I make my substrate. So if you guys would like to check that out, I will have time cards available here shortly for all the future videos. Now, I do want to kind of make this substrate as well arc from the back and slope down to the front, so this way I can put bigger plants in the back and they have enough soil to kind of grow through. Also gives it a nice little three-dimensional look as well. Now that the enclosure has its soil in, it's time to put the plants in. Now, as usual, I will be putting the names of the plants across the screen as long as I know them. All right, getting down to the last few steps. So watering the plants down and then going ahead and adding the oak leaf litter as well, just simply using oak leaves because they are small leaves and this is a very small bioactive enclosure. Now, as for seed pods, I'm putting 3 trumpet seed pods in here because they're small and they look good. This will become a food source for the springtails and isopods in the future. Now adding the springtails as well, just using tropical white springtails, kind of pouring them all around the enclosure. As for isopods, we're going to be using tropical white dwarf isopods. These guys are awesome. They breed really, really well in tropical climates. And then spraying everything down once more. Now, as for these holes that are kind of in the branches, we're going to go ahead and fill them with some sphagnum moss, wet sphagnum moss, because I don't really know who is going to be inhabiting this cage in the future, and I don't want them to be able to get into these small holes and hide. But there it is, guys, the final product. I'm very happy with the way this one came out. Very small, probably the smallest vivarium I've ever done. And this one will actually be for sale at Aquashella in Dallas. But wait, there is more. So all of these amazing cages that I built will also be available at Aquashella for purchase if you guys are interested. And Vision Cage themselves are revealing a new rack with my cages in it. I'm really excited. Hopefully you guys are going to be able to make it out to Aquashella in Dallas at the end of this month. I will see you guys there. Remember, subscribe if you aren't already, smash that like button if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next build. Take it easy.